you read books, and I talks to God. Oh, I goes out in the woods and in the fields, and I talks to God. One morning I was out in the wheat field, and the wheat was holding up his head looking mighty high. So I goes over, and I grabs a hold to this here wheat. And you believes it. There ain't nothing there. Oh, but I say, Lord, what ails this here wheat? And God say, Sojourner, there's a little more weevil in it. Well now, here's talking about the Constitution and the rights of man. Well, I goes over and I grabs a hold to this Constitution. Oh, and it's looking mighty big. And I search, and I search, and I search for my rights. Oh, and you believes it? There ain't nothing there. So I say, Lord, 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 what ails this here Constitution? God said, Sojourner, there was a little bit of weevil in it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I come this afternoon in the spirit of Mother Sojourner Truth, born during the time of slavery. What does anybody in here know about slavery today? Yes, sir.
There was a ruler and people got controlled over a ruler.
People were controlled by a ruler. Wow. Yes.
They had to work really, really hard.
They had to work really, really hard.
Black man was controlled by the white man, and he worked on his plantation with no pay.
The black man was controlled by the white man, worked on the plantation with no pay.
Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery.
Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery.
Underground Railroad.
You know about the Underground Railroad?
Basically, some people worked in the house, some people worked out in the field. If they didn't do it, they got whipped.
Some people worked in the house, some worked in the field, and if they didn't do it, they got whipped.
They bring in special slave owners to control the black people to work, make them work better and harder.
Anybody know anything about indentured servants? You know what that is?
Isn't it like servants for life?
I can't hear you, sweetheart.
Isn't it like servants for life?
Service for life. But there was a time in this country when white people were brought here as indentured servants. And so after a certain period of time, for the pay, it paid for them being brought to this country, and then they worked for 7 years for free and were released. But you know, somebody had the bright idea that, well, if we had somebody who didn't look like us, because these indentured servants would say, well, you know, I'm going to just run away and change my name. But somebody decided that, well, these black people from Africa who look so different, well, if we bring them and we enslave them, then why it won't be so easy for them to get away? So one thing we know about slavery times is that it was always about money. It wasn't really about skin color and people hating one another. It was about money. And so it was people being enslaved and working for free so that others could become rich. But I don't know how much time Sojourner got today, so I can't leave without making this clear, that it was a time when people came together, no matter the color of their skin, to abolish, as he used that word, the institution of slavery. Y'all understand what I'm saying today? So it wasn't about hating somebody because of their skin color. That's something that came later, didn't it? That grew out of that situation. But it was really about money. And I think that's something very important to remember. Now, since I was born during that time, and I like to say we was human beings always, we was never slaves, but we were enslaved. And I remember when I was little, my name wasn't Sojourner. You see, God gave me that new name. When I was born, they didn't keep up with our birth certificates or information like that. Now, my name was Isabel. And of course, since it was bondage, that slavery time was human bondage. If I belonged to the Smiths, because we was treated just like chattel. And so I became the Smith Bell. No birth certificate, no date of my birth, no last name. Then if I got sold off to the Hardenbergs, oh, why I became who? The Hardenbergs Bell. Then if I was sold off to the Joneses, hey, then I became the Joneses Bell. Now, can you imagine being in a time where your loved ones, your mother, father, had no rights to protect you? Your family members? Oh, I remember I used to see my mama standing outside at night, looking up at the moon and the stars. And she'd be moaning and crying, tears just running down her face. I say, Mama, why you cry like that? And she said, for all my children who have been sold away, they can see this same moon, and they see these same stars. And when I sing to this moon and these stars, I'm sending my love out to my children, wherever they are. And she would sing a song all the way from Africa. Can we sing it here today? Can y'all sing it with me? Okay, well, I'm going to sing first, and then you sing it behind me, okay? And it means God's word will always stand. I remember that song because it carried me a mighty long way. Ishe Oluwa, Ishe Oluwa, Kole Bajeo, Kole Bajeo. Oh, you're doing good. Ishe Oluwa, Ishe Oluwa, Kole Bajeo. Now I want you to sing it with power. Kole Bajeo. Kole Bajeo. Yes. Kole Bajeo. Kole Bajeo. Oh, next song. Ishe Oluwa. Ishe Oluwa. Kole Bajeo. Kole Bajeo. Children, I love you, yes I do. You know, through my years, I always get the little children to read the Bible to them. Because you know, old folks want to tell you what it means, won't let you think for yourself. But always the young people would read me those beautiful words, and I would always be very clear on what they meant. Well, for many years of my life, I worked mighty hard, worked in the fields, I worked at officials' camp. I worked many different places depending on where I was sold off to and who I was sold off to.